Hello, and welcome to Project Insight's Power Tutorial Series, where we highlight new or key features within Project Insight. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to be covering our free for enterprise customers client view. A few housekeeping items. Everyone's going to be on mute. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. Say hi now, maybe. Share maybe where you're joining from. I'm in Phoenix. With me is Steve West. Steve has more than 2 decades of experience helping thousands of organizations make their work life easier through project management as the founder and CEO of Project Insight. These 15 minutes are going to fly by. Hey, Steve, you ready to
Hey,
go?
yeah, we're ready to go. I mean, it's great
Awesome.
to show the client view, something we've had for a little while, but over the years, many clients have been asking us or many of our clients have been asking, hey, how do I share my projects with my customers? And we've developed what we think is a really great feature now that really can do the job for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
so
we're
let's go
excited to,
for it.
yeah, jump in and share my screen here. And this is our client portal. So this is what I am met with. You can see I've got a good morning customer login, as that's the name that we've labeled them. I have the ability to interact with items that I've recently touched. So up top here, I can see some tasks that I have. Below, I've got all of my work that's currently assigned to me. So we're looking at a filter set to see, the next specific days of either approval or task for this particular user. Down below, I can see the projects that I happen to be tied to
Yep.
as this particular client user. So you can see there are 3 here. Each of these have a little bit of different flavor as far as what you can possibly experience on that client portal. Anything to add to this piece, Steve,
Yeah,
right here?
definitely. I mean, I want to just touch base on that. When someone logs in with the client view, you are taken to this screen, and this screen, it's very similar to our work list screen, which shows you everything you need to interact with, just so that way the client, I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to make this simple was that we don't have to train your client. You want them to just log right in and know what's going on. So at the top, there are things that are assigned to them. But real quick too, Matt, why don't you
Hmm.
go to the tippy top
Yeah.
where the main menu is, the hamburger menu on the top, that's their main menu. They can click on home, but also one of the things you can do with the client view is you can share reports specifically to those clients and they will show up in that report area. So that there's two main views. One is the home screen, which he was just showing you, and then uh, any reports that you share with your client would show up here, so into the reports menu. So it works a lot like the regular web app does for the main for a full user, but really it's more limited what they can do and see, and their experience is really straightforward. So why don't you head back to that home screen and let's show them how it works.
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, so just like anything, you can assign tasks to your client and they will see them here. If there are no tasks, then they won't be presented that. But this works just like the work list. If you were to click on the not started there, they can interact with you here by changing the status, say hey done, or they can tag you and say put a comment in to you, and it works just like the work list does, so that they can collaborate with you here. They also could click on the task name to get more information about that task that they need to do. So this view, this shows them any other information they might need. So it works just like the team member does. Again, also attachments appear if you happen to have attachments showing up for that client. Yeah, so I like that comment. Let's get those clients working for us. No, definitely. Um, One other thing that people can do is you can route approvals to them. So just like any of the other items that you can assign to team members, you can assign them to your client. Um, so if you want to share that a little bit,
Yeah,
Matt.
absolutely. So I've just jumped into that approval here. So you can see we have this approval here for this proposal. I have the ability to get in just like I did on that task level, right? And see any information that's pertinent to this. Obviously, this is the proposal information here, the comments, and then I can see any sort of attachments right there.
So they can write comments to you or make attachments. If they're happy with this proposal, they could click approve and it would be approved, and drop off their list just like anything. But the other thing is that you might also route a file to them for approval or a document. So it's not limited only to proposals. We were just using this as an example.
And then they can simply approve or deny right here
Yeah.
and leave their comment. And just like any regular user would be, right? But
Yeah,
again, the client
exactly.
users is free, external to the organization.
Yeah. Now the next level of that. So we're just kind of showing you how clients can interact with tasks, but the bigger lift has always been, hey, I want to share my project information with my client, and not have to recreate a second schedule for them or recreate documents that you email to somebody. I mean, this is where we spend a lot of our time in making it so that you can selectively decide which projects are going to be sent to them. What are you going to show on any given project? Because let's face it, something you might show one client a lot of information, and maybe another client you aren't going to show them as much. So we've made it, and we'll show you at the very end here how to get that configured. But each of these projects that we're demoing today is sharing kind of some different kinds of similar things, but also some different options there.
Yeah. I like to think of it as different flavors of what you're showing them, right? So you
Yes.
can see here on this particular project that I clicked into, Globex client implementation, we're showing that status. I can see those tasks that I'm assigned to currently. So here we are. Below, we're showing milestones on this particular project. So you can see I have the ability to see where the milestones are. I can see where our progress is on these. I think that this is brave but wonderful. On this particular client portal, you have the issue to allow clients to raise an issue, right? To raise
Yep.
issues. So I can see the issues on the project. If I want to allow them to collaborate, I can come in here and allow my client users to then, create an issue here,
Yeah,
sign
exactly.
and
And
go through the flow.
you can even specify. You can see here that it defaulted to an assignment on this particular project. We are assigning any issue that comes in from the client to a specific person. Doesn't have You don't have to do that, but what's nice about that is then you could have someone on your team like triaging any kind of issues. Now, this isn't meant to be a help desk because that's another whole other animal. But if you are working with a client closely, normally these types of people that you're going to interact with they're really working with you on a project. They might be kind of part of your project team. So allowing them to come in and raise an issue is important because they're the ones that are maybe validating things for you or double checking. And if they find something wrong, instead of emailing you, you train them, hey, just log an issue and it gets put onto your RAID log, your issue action decision. Yeah. So there you go. So found an issue, they can log it here, and just like any team member on your project, they can do that. They can log it here. Fill out the forms.
Makes it
Yeah, go
nice and
ahead and
easy.
save that.
Yep.
So then it appears on that list there. So yeah, carry on there. And also the other thing too, some of these items we decided we're going to share all the milestones. When it comes to issues, they're going to see ones that they log. If you allow that, that's a choice to allow them to turn it on and off. If you if you don't want to share all your issues with them, we'll show you in a minute how you can do that. You can say, I want to share this, just issues, just issues I'm flagging, or you can share all the issues. So carrying on here, you can see there's the risks there.
We've got our risk matrix built in, those
Yeah,
files that we're sharing as well, right? We've got that availability to share down the client view, and then our comments.
that's right.
And
So you can share all your status comments, or you can share some of them.
exactly, that's what I was just going to say. Like Steve just mentioned on the milestones, right? You can choose what you're showing.
Yeah. Before we do the admin, let's look at one other project here.
Yeah, let's see that. Let's see what infrastructure upgrade looks like. A little different. So I can see I still have my progress bar. I've got my tasks that are assigned to me. This task is in December, so we didn't see that one previously on our work list for our client view. But I have summary tasks here. So I'm
Right.
showing how we're completing based on summary. And then down below again, issues, risks, files, and comments.
Yeah. And you can selectively let someone do files as well. So I guess we have about 5 minutes left. So let's go through how to get this working in your own workspace.
That sounds good. Get into the admin section now.
Yeah, if you don't, we need to switch screens there. All right. So now you're looking at the add-on. So in order to do the client login, remember you do need to be an enterprise client. So the free version does not have this available to it, but the enterprise clients you do. And remember, it is a free client user. So none of these users will count against your license. So you'll hit configure in here and you get taken to a main screen. You can click here to add client users. I'll show you a different way to manage your client users, but we do create a link there. Up top, um, these are the default settings for whether or not you are allowing your client to be assigned to clients to be added to tasks at all. Um, this is default on. The other thing too is whether or not we're going to show the summary view of summary information. You might actually have the client view feature on and you're not going to share any project info. So if you don't want to share project info at all, you turn that off. They'll never see projects. But by default, it is on. And then here's where you can basically turn on and off globally if they're going to see issues at all. So maybe you don't want your project managers ever sharing any issue ever. You could click that. You can also decide here which fields the client is gonna see. So these are you may like we showed you kind of everything just a minute ago, but you can turn off features on the issue so they only see like the name of the issue and an assignment or something like that. So you can actually turn off a bunch of fields. These are globally whether I'm enabling risks, actions, issues, decisions, documents, those kinds of things. And as we add more things that you can share to clients, like we'll be adding meeting minutes as an option to share to them, and invoice records is also they'll appear here as we add them. The next thing you'll see below are oh, is the default settings for when a new project is created. So these are all the default options that when a new project's done, these are what they'll see. So whether or not they can see the status comments, whether they see all comments, whether they can see the project description, what tasks level are you going to show, what issues are you going to show. So here I'm letting them see issues by default, or maybe I'm not going to show issues. If you click this box here, it'll show all the issues. If I disable this, then only issues that you want to share should be shown. There's a checkbox right at the bottom of an issue that says share with client. So if I uncheck this box, you'll see a box up here that says share with client. And Matt, if you want to pull that up while I'm demoing this, we'll show you that towards the end where that appears on a issue.
Yeah.
Then whether they allowed to add or not and who the default assignee might be. So same thing happened. This setting I just shared with you, it works the same for risks. If I say I turn it on at all, they see everything. If I uncheck this, only risks that are flagged will appear. And then the same thing for actions, decisions. You can share the document repository. This means like a link to your SharePoint. Now, you wouldn't only do this if you probably wouldn't share the repository unless you also are sharing the access to those repositories. So that's default off, I believe. Then whether they can see files, whether they see every file or just ones that are flagged. So then let me show you how on a project you want to, those are the default settings and then the settings in general for the client view. The last couple settings here is whether you can share a save report to them or not. So those are some things there.
That
If
was
you're
that
on,
cross project Gantt. Sorry to cut you off,
yeah,
Steve. That
yeah,
was the
that is,
cross project
yeah,
Gantt we were showing. Yep.
totally. And so if you want to share a project with a client, you have to go to your edit menu and you'll go to your project options and then you'll see client view options. If you're not sharing, then all of this would be off. Again, those can be turned on and off by default, but if you're going to share with your client, you're going to say, I want to see project information and I want them to see project data. Now, if I check this box, it's going to be whatever the default is. If I want to change the settings on just this project, I can come in here and override what I just showed you. So you see it's a very similar form to the default I just showed. But this allows you to tailor one project to be different than another. So once you're familiar with these settings, you can modify them, and uh, so project manager can override what you're normally doing this way. And that's how you'll do that. And Matt, if you can show an issue with the let me at the bottom of, well, I guess you'd have to have the issue form not in the client view. Let me go ahead and share an issue with you real quick
Okay.
so you can see what that looks like. Um, so I'm in my project here, and I'm going to go to my issues. I'm only sharing specific issues now. You'll see this checkbox at the bottom of these forms that says visible to client. So if you're only sharing ones that you decide that you want to specifically share, you check that box, it'll show up to the client. If you uncheck the box, it won't. So that's a really important subtlety there. But I think we've given you guys enough tools here to get started with the client view.
And we're here to help, right? So if
Yeah.
you're currently a customer of ours, you can reach out to me directly to get something set on the books. The email's scrolling down, but it's Matthew.Sparks@Project Insight. If you're not a customer of ours and you'd like to discuss what Client View can do for you and Project Insight as a whole, please also reach out. But thank you so very much.
Yeah, and remember also you can always come to the free office hours every Wednesday at 11 Eastern. That's right on our website as well. So if you guys need to ask some questions, you can come to the free office hours as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who joined, Rachel, Kendall, Steve, TJ, Brian, everyone, Manny also. We really appreciate everybody's
Yeah, thanks,
time.
clients.
We'll see you guys later.